You're tuned into Recovery TV, the voice of hope, with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Discussions and information on addiction and mental health issues. Here's your host with today's guest.
Welcome to another edition of Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Narcan, please get it. You can get it at CVS, you can get it at Walgreens. Any pharmacy carries it. Put it in your purse, put it in your car, take it out of your car at night because the weather does affect it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it saves lives. My guest today is Representative Tina Spears, and she's the Executive Director of CPNRI. So welcome, Representative, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, John.
So tell my viewers about CPNRI, because a lot of people don't know that we have an organization like yours in Rhode Island.
Oh, thank you. So the Community Provider Network of Rhode Island, which we lovingly call CPNRI, as an acronym, we are an organization that is a group of providers who just came together in 1985 and believed all people belonged in our community, and they maintain that vision today, and we work together to advocate for people's rights with disabilities, and we work on workforce development to make sure we have high quality services for people who live in the communities.
You guys of your organization has come a long way. You know, I can remember when I first got into legislature back in 2001, and the amount of bills that were put in for people with disabilities has grown exponentially over the years, and good, and I'm glad that that's happened. What do you see moving forward with bills? What do you think legislation to help your folks?
Mm-hmm. So fundamentally and foundationally, our organization believes that all people belong, as I said. And some of what's happened in history for people with disabilities has been we've kept them out of society's way, if you will. Right. So back in the early 1900s, people with disabilities were excluded from society and treated very poorly, inhumanely. And in the 1960s, 70s was really a big movement to deinstitutionalize, which means we weren't putting them in really difficult institutions that didn't give them autonomy or independence. And society said they belong in the community. And we've moved that ball quite a ways from that period of time. In about 1986, I believe, I think it was Governor DePrete, closed the Ladd Center, which was our main institution in the state of Rhode Island. And about 1994 was when the full transition into community occurred. And at that time, it was really the movement was moving people into the community. I would say today the movement is more about maintaining the rights that have been gained and expanding the belief within our society that all people belong in all sectors of society. It's just not a nice thing to do. It's the right thing. It's a civil rights movement. So what you'll see from our organization is really trying to move that needle. One of the bills that I'm working on personally as a legislator and my organization is working on is to ensure that when we invest dollars in the state of Rhode Island towards housing, that we are making sure that those buildings are accessible for people with disabilities. And people are, all of us in society, Catherine Taylor said it best from AARP, we are temporarily abled, right? At some point in our lives, we will lose the ability to potentially care for ourselves or ambulate wherever we want to go. So not only do we care about people who are already disabled in our society, but we care about those who will become. So this is a dual effort, if you will. Our organization is partnering with many others because the aging population is also very interested. Well,
you bring up a good point too, the aging population, and forget who was on my show a few weeks ago, saying in 2030, 65% of the Rhode Islanders will be, quote, seniors.
Yeah.
And what that piece of legislation does is ensures that things are done the right way and doesn't leave anybody by the curb.
Correct.
Because, I've seen it in Smithfield. I've seen it in a number of different places where handicap bathrooms are not complete, handicapped kitchens are not complete. If we expect our folks to live on their own, that have disabilities, well, we need to help them get to where they need to be by providing all these things that they need when they move into a treatment or an apartment or a house or something to that effect. You know, it's just something that I think is morally right, as you indicated, but I don't know why it never caught up with people until 2026.
Well, it hasn't yet.
You know?
We're
But you
still
know what
working on
I'm
the bill,
saying? Yeah,
right?
right. But I mean, it's when you have families that have to make that decision to put their loved ones in a facility, in a group home, or in a housing complex to live on their own because they're getting older. You got to give them some security that these folks have the instruments to provide for themselves.
Correct. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's a hard journey, right? Accessibility, and it's easy in my mind because it's all in the planning. It's basically saying we're not excluding anybody anymore. It's not about doing something more for them, really, in my mind. It's
doing
more
what's right for them.
It's doing what is right for all of society. So when we're thinking about that doorway, why wouldn't you just make it a little wider so everybody can get in and out of it? When you're thinking about those switches, why don't you make it so everyone can use it instead of those that are abled? So there's a lot of room and opportunity here. It's really a societal shift. So that's what you'll see from us as an organization, not only to ensure that we invest in services and support models for people with disabilities, but that we also change the culture of how we communicate about the potential and opportunities for those individuals, how we see them living and working within our communities. It's just a different mindset. It's a shift, and we won't walk away from that. We are steadfast in our belief that all people belong, and we'll continue to do that.
Right. You know, you say the word shift.
Yeah.
Okay. The people that build these buildings, it only takes one accident, 1 second, to have an issue, to be disabled.
Yeah.
People don't realize that.
Yeah.
So the gentlemen or gentlemens who are building these facilities,
Or gentlewomen.
or gentlewomen, are building these facilities, don't think of that. It's all about the dollar. But you need to protect society. You need to protect the people that need these type of things in their apartments or their houses.
Well, I would say we have some great builders who support this. I don't even want to discount their belief in it. Dave Caldwell, hopefully he's okay with me saying it on the show, but he's been a big champion for us. He's been very helpful. He's on the Builders Association. So we work closely with them to figure out what is it that makes this possible for all people. So we haven't gotten it over the goal line, but we're pretty optimistic this year that this will.
Well, I believe you're probably on the 5-yard line, but after the Super Bowl, we'll make sure you're over the goal line. We're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Representative Tina Spears is in the house, and she's with CPNRI, and we're talking about people with disabilities and what her organization does. So, Representative, tell me about what is on the agenda for 2026 for CPNRI. Because there's a lot of people that watch this show, and a lot of people that may or may not have children or have relatives with disabilities. So I know the good work that you do because we partner in a couple of things, but what's on the agenda for 2026?
So we have a lot on the agenda, but I'll tell you about a couple of key things that we're going to be working on. One big thing that we'll be doing this year is we're going to be hosting a regional conference, and it will be, well, I don't know exactly where it'll be just yet, but it'll be in the fall. And it'll be a 2-day professional conference, and it will be a wide range of professional opportunities for people in our industry and beyond to really learn best practices, learn about all the emerging technologies, really get together and learn broadly about our community, as well as what are some of the opportunities for improving services, expanding services and such. So that's a big body of work that we'll be working on this year. We do a lot of work. We're doing some planning work on thinking about how do we expand the professional spaces that we have in this community, and or extracurricular activities or camp opportunities for people with disabilities. So we're working very closely with the Autism Project on a big planning grant that we received from the Round Foundation. We continue to work kind of consistently on policies and practices across our network. So those are all things that we're working heavily on. And one of the biggest things that I would say that we do on an annual basis is ramp up our ability to communicate with a broader community. So our comms director is doing a great job of building a newsletter, really getting our messaging out through videography and storytelling. So we're really expanding our ability to do that and connect with our community. So those are some of the big hot ticket items that we'll be working on. And the best part of the year is in September, when we do a very big celebration for direct support professionals. Those are the frontline staff that make it all possible in the community. So we do that every year. We select one from each one of our member agencies, and we celebrate them pretty proudly.
So that was the question that I had for you. Mm-hmm. What kind of individual works within your community? What is their titles?
So we have direct support professionals. That's what we would call frontline staff, right? Those are the people who you might see helping somebody with their job skills at a local grocer or within a hotel or somewhere where they're employed. They also could be the individuals that you might see in group homes who are really supporting people with their ADLs. They are also people, managers who are overseeing the operations and the supervision of those direct support professionals. We have finance people, we have billing people. The whole system is a collection of very hardworking people who are committed to the mission of serving people with disabilities.
So are those individuals, they have to be licensed to work in the group homes?
Some. It depends on which role, right? So we have behavioral health workers within group homes depending on the types of needs of the person. So some are clinically licensed, some are not. Some are nurses, so they would be licensed through the Department of Health. A lot of individuals have master's level in administration or otherwise, CFOs, they are CPAs, things like that. So.
Yeah. So when you have your conference, is it a conference where you offer CEUs for folks?
Sure do. Yeah. Yep. So that's the really big draw regionally too, is to allow those licensures. A lot of people don't realize how much work goes into learning how to support people with disabilities in the community and in the mental health space as well. And in order to maintain those licenses, you gotta keep up to date on all your sort of your credentialing.
Right. So you have a 2-day seminar. Well, I'll use the word seminar. I don't know what you want to use, but and we don't know where it's at yet. But when you do know where it's at, let me know, and I'll announce it on the show. But it's when you work with these folks, not you, but your frontline staff, it's a very difficult job. Very difficult. And I'm seeing more and more of these folks not coming back. Like in the substance use and mental health arena, after COVID happened, we had a mass exodus of people not wanting to get back into the, field, the arena. So what is your organization doing to attract people to stay within your purview of people with disabilities?
So it's interesting. That's a great question, and I would say yes. It's it can be very challenging work, but it also can be extremely rewarding work, right? As you know, and one of the things we have a whole strategic plan as an organization, and we are partnering directly with Department of Labor and Training. We work with the University of Minnesota's. We work with Skills RI. So we have a collection of work that we're doing to build a pipeline. So we're bringing people in to, kind of test their skills in our field, and then how do we bring them through the ranks? So we work with the University of Minnesota on a number of things. One is supervisor training, and they have this pretty significant, intensive 6-month training program that we have learned how to do that. We've been trained to do that in-house. So we're actually on our own this year doing it, delivering that service to our member organizations, because we know that if someone coming into this field as a direct support professional doesn't have the right support from their frontline supervisor,
It's a failure.
exactly. So that's one of the interventions that we're working very actively on to help those supervisors maintain their staff. Turnover is a bad thing in our industry, right? You do not, if you're going to invest in an employee, you want them to stay. And we are measuring that. So we've also embarked on building a database so we understand our workforce for our sector. So we know how many people are coming in, how many are going out, where are we seeing some changes. So we're very excited about that because now we can kind of closely look at it. So we have a lot of work in play right now, and it's continuing to refine and try new things.
So I know your organization and my organization worked together a couple of years ago pertaining to rates.
Yep. Sure did.
Where are we with that? Are you guys okay with that, or we need to keep going?
Yeah. So as you know, again, back in the 1990s, Rhode Island transitioned to managed care organizations. They said, hey, we're going to help you administer benefits to our community. And those insurers, this was the rate they gave them, and we kind of stayed there for like 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
So John and I had the fortune to work together and pass rate review, which is essentially how much does it cost to deliver services, and we've gone through that, and we've been successful, right? Like we've had an investment. The General Assembly has stepped in and funded that. This year, the rate recommendations have come out from the Office of the Health Insurance Commissioner, and at this moment, the governor's budget only funds half of that. And we're going to continue to work to make sure that it gets fully funded, because these workers matter, these services matter, and it's important that we honor the work that has been done and conducted, and make sure that we maintain the progress we've had so far.
Your folks and my folks, as you indicated before, we need a bullpen. We cannot survive on what we're doing now. We need to get people in the industry, both of us, in order to survive and make it strong for the people that we help and we represent. I want to take a quick break, but I want to talk a little bit more about that when we come back.
Okay.
You're watching Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now back to Recovery TV with your host, John J. Tassoni Jr. Recovery TV is made possible by our supporting sponsors and our title sponsor, Kodak. Now, here's John and today's guest.
Welcome back to Recovery TV, and I'm your host, John Tassoni. Representative Tina Spears is in the house. She's with the CPNRI. So welcome again, and thank you for joining us. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the class of people that we need to train in order to have a bullpen to keep it flowing. Because what happened in 2020 with COVID and people just exiting the medical field, it really hurt all of us that had people in the industry. Do you think that's changing now?
I think it's dynamic, right? Our whole workforce has a lot of disruption, right? You have AI intervening in a lot of spaces. You have burnout. You don't have succession planning, and you have a younger employee market that they have different perspectives, and they have different desires, and maybe they don't know as much about our industry as they could. That's why I think reaching in to understand who are those youth and younger people who would want to be in the service space, because it takes a certain mindset, it takes a certain skill set, and a desire to want to work in this field. So you want to cultivate that young, get them into our field. So I think thinking about our workforce a little bit differently is needed.
Well, thank you very much for coming on today. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. We'll love to have you back on after the session's over, because I know big things are going to happen.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, after the show, we have Kodak Live coming up. And after that, I'm going to tell you right now, we are on 12 Plus. So dial it on, put it on your phone. You can watch us anytime. Next week, Ellie Mental Health is on. We'll see you next week.